Previously on Retrocraft Dreams.
This is my Cool Times Barbie, straight out of 1989.
In March 2023, I found some hot pink costume satin on clearance that sparked an idea. Since then, I have knit my first sweater, sewed my first pants, tested crochet and knit versions of some leg warmers, drafted the oddest 80s garment I could imagine, embroidered and framed a pair of earrings, reknit my sweater, and now, finally, it's time to make the final piece. My Cool Times Barbie project is almost done.
Cool Times Barbie doll with skateboard that becomes a scooter, new from Mattel.
Today is finally the day that I'm going to make this little puppy. I'm gonna make this jacket after what? Having the idea 2 years ago or more. Pattern. I had, of course, a very specific style of jacket I was looking for. It is a dolman sleeve cocoon jacket, and this one has a collar. But I couldn't believe my luck when I found this one. This is McCall's 4629. It is a cocoon jacket. It is intended for a lighter weight jacket, sheer fabrics and, drapier fabrics, whereas this is definitely, much more structured. It also does not have the collar, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to add the collar myself. But other than that, they're from the same year. They're both 1989. So that's really exciting to me. My plan, now I've been using this costume satin, which is really flimsy. On the peplum skirt thingy, I added some iron-on interfacing to give it more structure. It kind of works. It's not the greatest, but I have an even better plan for the jacket. I am going to be flatlining it, and I found this twill weave curtain. So it has been pre-washed. I do need to press it. I just hope there's enough. There should be enough. So I'm going to flatline the pink satin with this ugly twill weave brown, but because I don't want this showing as the lining, I was able to find this beautiful Barbie-esque, oh, look how gorgeous that is. So I found this on clearance at Joann's a year ago, maybe more than a year ago. I, again, hope there's enough. Here's what I really want to do. I want to make this jacket reversible. So my plan for today, I'm gonna find some scrap paper and try and figure out how to add a collar. I'm going to just make it the same way as this one. Then I'm gonna press my fabric and hopefully get the fabric cut out before the end of the night tonight. If I could just get started. I think that's why I have to do this. Like, I can't just jump right into sewing. I have to talk about it first. All right, Barbs. Still wish I had your other leg warmer. So we've got two different lengths here. I need the shorter one. And here comes Toby. No. When stitching, handle the 2 layers as one. I will be working with 3 layers. Oh, this needs shoulder pad. I have shoulder pads, but I don't think I'm gonna put them in here. Yeah, we're not gonna do the shoulder pads. I've got the back piece and the front piece lined up and my little jacket here, and it's actually a really good match, except I need to figure out the collar. Now, the jacket does have pleats under the arm. This jacket has a version with pleats on the shoulders, but I think I'm gonna have to skip the pleats altogether because I'm still a bit too much of a novice to make sure I'm getting it right. I could probably technically use the line from the shoulder pattern piece to like figure out how the pleats need to go here, but I think because I'm bag lining it, there's just kind of too much room for error, and I don't know if they go right with the flat lining as well. So I think I'm going to skip the pleats, but the collar I really would like to figure out. It's a little bit daunting because I basically have to draw the whole collar. Usually I just move a line from one place to another if I'm going to adjust something. But in this case, I have to draw the entire collar. And although I probably have enough of the hot pink to do a mock-up and mess it up, I don't have enough of the other fabrics. Likely don't have enough of the other fabrics. And I just don't think I have time to do a mock-up. I'm just going to try and match this up as best as I can. Here is Barbie's jacket. So her front actually comes right to the middle, and this one has a good couple of inches between. But we need to figure out how to add the collar. Now on my pattern, the front line comes right up to the seam. So, and on hers, it comes up into the collar a little bit here, and the shoulder goes up into the collar there. So if I want to match that, I would need to add some here so that it could come up there and then curve back down. And then on the back panel, it comes up and goes across there. So I need to figure out, first of all, how high I want my collar. Hers is pretty high. I don't think I need it that high. My neck is not as long as hers, but there we go. There's the jacket. Got the seam allowance extending here. I will straighten this up later. How tall do I want the collar? Let me measure my neck a minute. Of course, the problem is I don't know exactly where that's gonna hit on the back of my neck. I checked my closet, and I have this jacket. I think it can give me a good idea. Let me get it oriented here. I tried it on, and that seemed like a good length. So I'm gonna use this to kind of help guide me for drawing a collar on here, if I can place it on my pattern without ripping it. And that lines up actually right here. So the seam line can come up that way and be right here. Okay, so we're just gonna come across the top of that and then down that way, like so. So now I just need to match up that curve and clean that up, but I think that's gonna be a decent kind of guideline. Actually, yeah, that's just about perfect. So we're gonna come here. Really, dude? So my cutting line, and then we need to go out 5/8 of an inch from that. So that's here. All right, so I think we've got a collar there. Let me cut that out, and then I gotta figure out how to do the front. And actually, that's like so, I think I didn't make it wide enough. That's only 2 3/4 of an inch. So yeah, that doesn't come all the way around my neck. So yeah, all I think I need to do is move this over and add some in here. I never said I knew what I was doing. I need to measure how big around I want this on my neck, yeah? 9 inches, but that's including what's gonna be in front. We have 4 inches minus seam allowance, which means a little bit will be on the front, which is what I want, just a little bit of the collar wrapping around the front. So this panel on her jacket, can we see? Comes and meets at a point with the collar. So that's what I'm trying to make, is this little extension right here on the front. It took some doing and it's a little bit janky, but I think I've got it. So what I did was I traced this curve onto an extra piece of paper and just swung it out a little bit until it matched up with a curve coming from up here. So I've got the same curve here on the front as on the back. I matched up the notches and the corner and matched that up so that it can come out this way. I think the next thing to do is to trace this out on the pink, because I should have plenty of that. I will pin or baste that together so I can try it on and make sure it's gonna work, and then I can cut out the other pieces. Satin sucks. I can't get this to stay still while I draw my line. I don't know how to make this work. I wanted to cut this out first because I have plenty and I wanted to be able to check the collar. Okay, how about I cut out one, a front and a back, so I can pin those together, and then I'll do it on the twill. I feel like this went way off the mark. These pieces do not match up at all. The curves are entirely different. Holy moly. That's the center back. Do you think it's gonna work? I think I'm just gonna go with it. What I'm doing right now, I have the lining fabric taped to the table. So I've taped it, I've squared the selvage against the edge of the table as well as I can, and I've taped it across the top. I've got the wool mat keeping it from sliding at that end, and now I'm pinning the twill fabric to the charmeuse. The lining is some kind of charmeuse, and I will cut it while pinned to this. Then I can remove this and pin it to the pink, where it will never come off again. That's pretty. I am really glad I was kind enough to myself to only set the goal of cutting the fabric today, because it is dinner time and I need to take a break, and I still have the pink to cut out. But the reason I've left all of the twill pieces attached to the lining fabric is so that I can keep it together long enough to pin the lining to itself. Where's my other piece? 80s coats are big. So when I come back from dinner, I'm going to go ahead and pin together the center seam and remove the twill from that edge while I do that. I need to also pin the arm seams front to back. And I might be able to get all of that pinning done at once before I remove the twill, which means I'll be pinning before I finish cutting. But that way I can like actually move things around a little bit better. It's just so much more stable this way. Real quick, we are on day 2, and I think I'm in good shape to finish it up pretty quickly. I didn't get all of the cutting done yesterday, although I did get some pinning done that I hadn't really put into the plan. So today, first I need to, well, I could sew up what I pinned. I could just sew that up real quick because I'll be doing that in a different color thread. And then the pink fabric, I just did a rough cut because I realized I really need to press it. I couldn't press the full fabric. It was just, there's just too much of it and it was too unruly. And so basically I pinned my inner lining to it and just did a rough cut around it so that I can press it before I put these together, because once these two fabrics go together, they are never coming apart again. And I pinned one up fully and realized I couldn't press it with the pins in, but I didn't want to sew it until it was pressed because I want it to be as smooth as I can get it. I'm really excited for this jacket. I hope it's cute enough that I can like actually wear it. I don't know if I'm in screen, but okay, y'all. I think I'm really gonna want to wear this. So this is looking super fun. I probably should have taken the waist into consideration and widened it at the bottom, because the side seams are actually way back, almost above my back pockets. But I think with the way the cut of this jacket goes, it really isn't going to matter in the long run. It's going to feel more like a bolero, but that's also kind of how hers fits. The other thing is the collar. I don't know if the collar is working or not. I think I'm going to have to like pinch it in, but I'm not going to know that until I get the other one, the twill done. Because this doesn't have enough structure for me to see how it's going to land. So I will sew that one up, try that on, and see if I need to like taper the back seam in a little. So I think I should be able to fix it after the fact. And then whatever I do to that one, I can then do to this one. I love this print so much. Oh my gosh, I might actually want to wear this. And then without the collar, it would just be something like that, more or less. Yeah. Oh, it's so fun. Yeah. So I think next on the lining, I'm supposed to like do some reinforcement stitching along the curves, although this one doesn't really have curves, but I think I may need to reinforce the side seams since they are so far back. That is going to get pulled a lot. So I'm going to at least do a little reinforcement stitch right in here. It's just that waist seam. And I would fix it, but there's not enough fabric there. And it's fine. It's going to be fine. Shall I try it on inside out first? There's definitely something wrong right here with this collar. So I don't know. And if I could, actually, like if the waist fit, it would have been fine. But because I didn't adjust the waist to come around far enough, the collar doesn't sit where it should. So my side seams are actually back here. Can't believe I didn't think to adjust them. Like, what? Come on, Lindsay. Have it pinned like that. See if that helps. Yeah. How does that look from the back? Can you see? I can't see. It took me a few tries, but I think I've got it. I think that's going to work. Is this the perfect jacket? Did I do a great job? Not necessarily. I am a little bummed how I didn't fix the waist. Here's my line. We're going straight parallel to the original seam for the back of the neck, and then a straight angle down to here, and then kind of easing into the original seam. Hopefully that will work. I put in the alteration a little too straight. So what I think I need to do is I need to put in a curve right about here. And then I think right here I need to curve in a little bit. Redoing that. Here's hoping that'll do it. So we've got that little mild S, and then I'm gonna have to figure out how to put that on the other one. I sewed it here and tried it on, and it was too sharp of an ending, so I went back and I
tapered it all the way down to here.
Yeah, oh, it's worse. Dang it.
Okay, well, I don't know what to do. Maybe it's just the curves that need to be clipped. I don't know. I think I just gotta go with it because I'm running out of time. So I'm gonna hope that it will somewhat resolve when I clip the curves and press everything flat. And I need to just transfer it to the lining so that they match. Well, I have reached the point in this process that I seem to reach in every sewing project where I am just ready to be done, and I'm just like haphazarding my way through the final steps. So I'm not entirely happy. I'm not entirely happy with the shape of the back of the neck. There's only so much I can do while I'm wearing it, reaching behind me on a garment that's like gonna move so much. So I'm just gonna go with it. So now I just need to clean up all these edges, grade the seam allowances, and then I gotta pin the whole thing together, sew it, flip it, do the edges of the cuffs and the opening that I turn it from, and then it should be done. But that's actually still a lot of work, and it's very dark now. I was in such a good pace, and then it just got away from me. Once again, we have a nuisance. Flip. Great. This is so confusing. I might need to top stitch this. So close and yet so far. I really had hoped that this would be a 2-day project, but it's after 2 a.m. and I am almost out of memory, and there's just that little bit left to do. I've got it turned and pressed, but I'm going to have to top stitch it because the flat lining wants to roll out because it's so much thicker. And I'm going to do that in one when I stitch this closed, because I was going to have to top stitch that closed anyway. And then I have to turn, press, and stitch the cuffs, and then it's done. Like, I'm so close, but it's actually going to take longer than, I mean, it's bedtime now. But I really wanted to wear this tomorrow, but I can't. Alas. It's done! I can't believe Cool Times Barbie is finally done. Now, I don't have anywhere to wear this, I just made it for fun, but I can absolutely wear the sweater, jacket, and earrings as part of my everyday wardrobe. If I do find something to wear this to, I might remake the pants. I'm also thinking the length of the jacket doesn't actually work with the peplum, but if I shorten the jacket, it could solve the waistline issue. And I'm thinking it might be worthwhile to add in the underarm pleats after all. But I'm going to get a little more sewing practice before I tackle that. In the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy these super cool pieces. Thanks for enjoying some cool times with me. If you missed any of the previous videos in this series, there's a playlist on your screen. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.